Hi everybody, welcome back to part 2. I hope there's not too much noise on this one. I know it was on the first one, and there's not much I can do about stopping that noise. I really apologize. But I was wanting to get this important information out to you, and I am going to leave the links to all of the articles that you can go back and read. This one comes from the European Union Times. I had to go outside of the American media just to try to find something decent and what's going on. That's why I wanted you to come over to part 2. So I better get started. Okay, this is a very disturbing report that was prepared by General Alexei Maslov, who is the senior military representative of the permanent mission of Russia to NATO. And it states that he had been notified by the Americans of their plan to hold a DEFCON 1 cocked pistol maximum readiness alert drill on the 27th of September, which will be overseen by President Obama at one of the United States' most secure bunkers located beneath the Denver International Airport. Okay, this has so much information, so listen up. So this can give you some clues about what is going on. And I don't want to get into a lot of background stuff about September 11th, but pretty much all of us kind of know it is pretty much exhaustive about what happened on 9/11 and basically who was behind it. And we know this happened on Bush's watch, during Bush's regime, and who he hired into the CIA at that time. And the person who was the head of the CIA at that time was General Michael Hayden, and until his term was up in February of 2009. And later, when Obama got in office, he placed U.S. Army Intelligence Officer Leon Panetta. I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Leon Panetta, to run the CIA, and he was over the Intercontinental Military Tunnel Complex. So you follow me so far? And then Obama later he put General David Petraeus as head of the CIA, and that was barely a week that this happened, that the nuclear attack happened with the CIA and the underground tunnel there in D.C. And so you see where all these get. Now, see, all these men, they're all traitors to our country. I mean, the military, the higher ups, they're all, they're traitors to the American people. And well, I don't want to get into any more of the 9/11 thing, but anyway, it gets into Al-Qaeda, and we all know Al-Qaeda is the CIA. And actually, we know that Bin Laden was used by them, and his operative name in the CIA was Tim Osman. And I'm talking about Osama Bin Laden. And they were connected with the Pakistani ISI intelligence service, and that was funded by the Saudi royal family. And the Russian intelligence were aware of all of this after this was infiltrated by an FSB agent, Victor Bout. And so you have the Russian spies coming over here and infiltrating. So this is another heads up. There was a plan that the Russians could invade us. So when I was talking about we may have war here, and that's very much could still happen. I'm sure that they have a lot of what they say, a lot of these drills going on, and it could be a war, and it could be some other kind of false flag. I'm not really sure yet. But anyway, it also gets into Marvin Bush and Ward Walker III, which was a cousin of George Bush. They were all involved in engineering 9/11. And as a matter of fact, let me see. I want to go ahead and get into the article because, like I said, I'm getting too much into 9/11, and I think I'm going to run out of time again. But anyway, when it gets into the under the SALT agreement, was the Strategic Nuclear Arms Control Agreement signed between Russia and the United States. Both parties were required to notify the other in all cases of such maximum readiness drills occurring, but are not required to state their reasons for doing so. Okay? Talk about, traitors, selling us out. General Maslov states that in his report, though he was concerned that this drill heightened due to the last months of a nuclear attack on the CIA branch of the Intercontinental Military Tunnel Complex between Washington, D.C. and Denver, which that was reported on the 24th of August by the Russia reports nuclear explosion hit. And see, Russia knows all about it. So my suspicions are, there's going to be war breaking out here pretty soon. So just as a warning, you guys, just be prepared. Be prepared for anything. Important to note in this, shortly after devastating attacks on America and on 11 September 2001, the Bush regime moved to completely militarize the CIA by placing it as its director, Michael Hayden, as I mentioned earlier, and who served in that capacity until February of 2009. And then Obama put in place Leon Panetta to run the most powerful of the spy agencies, was for the CIA. And then after Panetta, Obama put America's top general in, David Petraeus, in charge of the CIA, just barely a week after aforementioned nuclear attacks upon it. And the fears of this between in the Bush and Obama regimes in regards to the CIA were due to the complacency in the 11 September attacks on America, that utilizing their Al-Qaeda terror network headed by their main asset, Osama bin Laden, otherwise known by his codename Tim Osman. And that was run jointly with the Pakistani's intelligence service, ISI, and funded by the Saudi royal family. It's important to note that the Russian intelligence services were long aware of the CIA ISI Tim Osman operation. We're talking about Osama again, after it had been infiltrated by a top FSB agent, Victor Bout, who delivered to Marvin Bush, President George Bush's younger brother, and Walker III, George Bush's cousin, that approximately 15 tons of the Russian military PVV-5A plastic explosives that were used to bring down the World Trade Center buildings, and there were pictures of this nowhere to be found, nor a picture of Walker Bush is available. So you just wonder where all those records went to. And then on the 1st of September 2010, reports that a U.S.-Russia bidding war for 9/11 merchants of death reached $20 billion, and we detailed this sordid plot as part as was this is what was said. It was important to note that Marvin Bush and Mort Walker III is that at the time of the 9/11 attacks, they were both directors of the American security company named Stratsec, formerly known as Securicom, which was given an $8.3 million contract to help provide security at the World Trade Center, and which the weekend prior to the attacks completely closed this massive skyscraper complex for 36 hours to upgrade its security system. I smell an espionage here. Okay, anyway. Now the agent, the Victor Bout, in being curious, to say the least, as to why the Bush family needed so much of Russian explosives for their upgrade of the World Trade Center. Complex was invited by Marvin Bush to come to the New York City to watch the big show, as offered. Bout did not refuse, and so that the night prior to the 9/11 event that happened, or tragedy, Bout traveled to New York City, where he was to meet Bush operatives working for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is FEMA, who coincidentally had scheduled an emergency exercise for the morning of September 11, 2001, that all too soon became real, as we all know. Bout was given a FEMA security pass that gave him unhindered access to the aftermath of the catastrophic attacks upon the World Trade Center complex, which these reports document that he took full advantage of. Unfortunately for the Americans, though, that Bout's visit, wearing his FEMA credentials, was formed by FEMA's official videographer, Kurt Sonnefeld, who was the only filmmaker giving unrestricted access to 9/11. Okay, so you're telling me that the FEMAs are good guys? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, here's a video of the Denver conspiracy. If you'd like to see this, I'm sure you've probably seen it, but it's here. And then I think I'm kind of running out of time on this, but maybe I'll just cut it here and then go to part 3. Whatever time it takes, because I still have like a lot more information to really crack this case, and bring the information to you, and let you all know what is really going on behind the scenes. So I'll cut it here, and I'll see you in part 3. Okay, y'all take care. God bless. Bye-bye.